If you would like to know how you could become a much better father in just 15 minutes per day, then stay tuned for more. Welcome, everyone. It's the Black Prospector, and I just wanted to share some tips on becoming a better father in just 15 minutes. Now, some years ago, I wrote this article, actually 14 years ago, on my blog, and I just wanted to read it and share it with you as I've just become a new grandfather. And it's just one of those things that's mind boggling to think, like, wow, 14 years ago, my son was around 11 years old when I wrote this, and here he is now having a child of his own. And you'll be amazed at what spending just 15 minutes will do per day with your kids. Now, I also have a friend who was having 3 kids on the importance of being able to just spend individual time with each one of them. And he's seeing that. And I was so proud that he was seeing that because, and if you have, especially I'm going to say more than 2 kids, it is vital that you spend time getting to know the personalities of each one of those children. For me, having 5, certainly having one that was 10 years older than number 2, it was really vital because the needs were completely different between those two, one being 18 and one being 8. And so the 18-year-old was looking for me to go out street racing. Not that that was legal. Well, maybe I should say cruising. All right, let's say cruising. To go out cruising with him when he got his first car. For the other, it was a matter of going maybe bike riding, going out to throw the ball. Then if I look at my daughter, my firstborn daughter, well, for her, it was important to get to know her personality and spend more time with her and not necessarily treat her as a boy, but also let her know that she's more than welcome to do the activities that I do with the boys, and yet also be a woman. And then we get to my 3rd son. And when he comes along, well, he kind of actually had his time a little bit intruded upon because his sister came along. He wasn't allowed to really be a child. And so he had a little bit more of a reserved personality. So him having a chance to be alone with dad was a little bit more crunch. But I recognized that it was those times with him I needed to really spend time in order for him to get a chance to express himself without his brothers and sisters being around or without him being in the shadow of his big brothers. And then we get to my final daughter. Well, she certainly had probably the most outgoing personality of all the kids, but she was also one that certainly received a lot of attention from her mother. And, dad had to kind of work a little bit to get in there. But I also recognized there was a part of her personality that just wanted to explode. There was a leadership part of her personality. Those were the things that I learned, spending just 15 minutes, because I had a chance to homeschool 4 out of the 5 of them. So the 15 minutes that I'm talking about is 15 minutes where you get a chance to go out with your sons or daughters. And whether it's a walk, whether it's a bike ride, something recreational, outside of doing homework. I'm not necessarily talking about doing chores. I'm not talking about bringing them out and maybe helping, them working on the car with you. All of those things are great. But I'm talking about the 15 minutes of recreational activity where dad can just sit back, relax, and be dad without necessarily being a disciplinarian. And the kids get a chance to just sit back and really get to kind of know you, pick your brain, and more importantly, you get to pick theirs. So let me share this blog post of the importance of just 15 minutes. When my parents lived close by, I would often go over to their house and visit. Always being tired, or perhaps after some of mom's good home cooking, I say, "Ma, I just need 15 minutes and I'll be good." Then I doze off for about 15 minutes and get up feeling refreshed and good to go after the recharge. Mom would always follow up with, "I don't know how you do that with just 15 minutes of sleep. That wouldn't do anything for me." Now I continue being tired every day in a house full of children wanting my attention. I'm learning the value of just 15 minutes. Perhaps I learned it more because of the child that I didn't have live in the house with me. Whether it's 15 minutes of basketball with one, 15 minutes of reading with this one, or 15 minutes of Hot Wheels with that one, 15 minutes to start, to give them the time that they need. In that 15-minute time period, I could have taken a quick nap, checked my fantasy football team, or any number of important things that seem to get done in that time span. In 15 minutes, my dad took me for a walk to the store on a Thanksgiving Day after a huge snowstorm. In 15 minutes, my dad played catch with me, which ended when I took a ball off the top of my dome with one of his throws. But despite that fact, and the fact that he did it, even though he hates sports and thinks they're a waste of time, but he still did that, and it had an impact on me in just 15 minutes of time. But I knew, and he knew, that I love baseball and still do to this day. Most importantly, I remember the 15 minutes he spent, but probably he doesn't even remember any longer. Now, if my dad did it after working 16-hour shifts, something most of me and my Gen X friends don't do on a regular basis, then how much more can I do? How much more can you do? How much more can we do? Fellas, I know your time is tight. I know the stress of this life wears on you like sandpaper on paint, but your money, presence, and discipline are standard features. It's the options that make one car more special than another. I know you're tired of making $1 out of 15 cents, but please take the time to also make a man or a woman by just starting with 15 minutes a day. Now, in what ways do you spend just 15 minutes or maybe more with your children? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you like the content, like and subscribe for more as we discover more things about fatherhood, and I just share some of your adventures with mine, as now my grandchildren are almost outnumbering the number of children that I had. And I had a lot of kids. So until next time, peace, prospectors.